Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Andrew McCART, IFLTV, delighted for the first time in a long time, Mr. David Jamieson. And I before I pushed record there, I mentioned the beard because you probably have the best beard in Scotland, and that's hands down fact.
Listen, I'll take that. I'll take that. That's a certain accolade. I'll take that, mate. No, it was a bit long. It's a bit better maintained than it's been over the last couple of weeks, but no, it's looking good now, mate.
Looks like you brush it. Do you brush it?
Mate, I'll just come out and I'll say it. I get a wee blow dry in the morning. That's what keeps it neat.
Fair play to you. Fair play. Listen, I want to speak to you because it's been a while since I have spoke to you, and obviously I follow you on Instagram. And I've seen that you've been travelling up and down England of late, sparring the likes of Dan Tell at the Rotunda, then going down to Johnny Fisher's gym and giving him some rounds. And what I'm hearing, and going on what Johnny's put on his Instagram as well, you've been giving them some good work. So
yeah,
I suppose we'll start with the Johnny Fisher sparring. Like, listen, how were they? Was it a full blown war like I'm hearing?
Listen, brilliant. Top sparring. Close on 50 rounds over 2 weeks for Big Johnny there. They were bringing other sparring partners in, and I'm sure the Mark Tibbs and that will not mind me saying they were bringing other folk in, and then after the first sparring session, they just said, look, listen, are you happy to be sort of like the chief sparring partner? Are you happy to do 8 rounds at a time with Big Johnny? And we're not going to bring anybody else in. Obviously, I've got a very similar style to Babbage. And at the moment, sitting about 16 stone, probably similar stature. And I said, yeah, no. So it was 2 weeks, 8 rounds a piece, 3 days a week. So it was real good work.
You're sticking to heavyweight? Because I know you had a fight at heavyweight. Is it Mohammed Salim you fought and you knocked him out in the first round? So what's happening?
So the Kasim thing, and listen, I'm party with Big Kasim, but it was a fun one for everybody up here. For them, obviously down south, they don't know who we are and things, but it was a fun one up here, and it was a bit of a novelty fight, and it done well for my profile. It was a nice finish and things like that. But the plan is to come back down to Cruiser. There's a few names. I'm not going to start name dropping, but I would certainly entertain a couple of names up here at heavyweight. But I'm not. The plan is not to stay here.
You've got to give me the names, David. You have to. Obviously, know the big boys. I don't obviously know the big boys, but I'm guessing for me, your style, like you mentioned Babbage, he's fighting Johnny Fisher, but if you were to chuck Babbage and you in together, I'm like, wow, that's got war written all over it. So I would say like Babbage, those type of fighters make sense for me if you were to go up to heavyweight, if you were to entertain that. But obviously you got the big boys, like you said, these boys are huge. Your Joshua, you know what I mean? They're a bit too big.
These are big men. It's the height and the reach and all that sort of stuff. And the bigger guys, like I said to you there previously, like they're just, it's harder to hurt these lads. And I mean, I can punch anyway, I can punch my weight, but these lads at 18 stone and stuff like that, they're just used to taking shots much bigger than what we can deliver at 16 stone. You know, it's a totally different weight category in itself. But like you say, out at the Babbage, I don't know, I said maybe Carty, something like that. You know, I would certainly entertain that, definitely.
Well, listen, you never know with this boxing game where it will take you. But you mentioned going back down to the Cruiserweight division. And right now, for you, when I'm looking at that Cruiserweight division, especially with the fights that are happening tonight, it just seems to be the best division right now to be a Cruiserweight, especially domestically, because for a long time, David, as you well know, the Cruiserweight division has been a division that's nobody's really thought about. Do you know what I mean? It's always been in that little back burner. You're just a small heavyweight. Nobody really cares and whatnot. But right now, when you look at like Jaya Pataya, do you know what I mean? You look at these guys. Even Marius Bredas is still about. You got Chris Billam-Smith against Riakporhe. You got Massey against Chamberlain. It's what an absolute time to be a Cruiserweight, especially here.
You look at, I mean, everybody talks about your top 10. You look at your top 15 in the UK, and I mean, aside from your Opataya and your Bredas, what a performance he pulled out the other week. I'd honestly thought he was maybe too many miles in the clock, but I mean, he showed there that he's still right up there. But your top 10, top 15 in Britain is, I mean, as good as your top 10 in the world, to be honest.
Well, that's it. And like I say, albeit that your last fight at Cruiserweight was Chef Clark, I believe, wasn't it?
Yep.
Chef Clark, and probably a fight that didn't go to plan for you. Obviously, I don't want to do anything.
Correct.
Don't want to say anything that might piss you off. But you know what I mean. You still have the tools and still have the ability and capability and the skill set to stamp your authority on this cruiserweight division, I believe. And that might just be me being a biased jock and your friend,
Yep.
but I still believe that you've got something to give in this cruiserweight division. And especially, like I said to you, I'm guessing, maybe not the Billam-Smith Riakporhe fight, but I'm guessing you might have one keen eye on that Massey Chamberlain fight.
I'll certainly be watching. I'll certainly be watching tonight. But no, like you say, I mean, listen, in the grand scheme of things, I'm probably a baby in the division. You know, I'm only sort of 14 going on to my 15th fight in. Yeah, I had to take the chef thing when it came up. There was no excuses, other things going on behind the scenes. I'd lost a bit of weight with the jaw break with Mikel and things like that. Maybe my body wasn't quite right, albeit Chef's a tremendous fighter. But chapping on here a year down the line, it's gave me a good bit of strength of character, a wee bit more knowledge, a wee bit more guile, things like that. And especially taking myself down south of the border, down to Mark's gym and sparring with the boys down there and things. I'm still coming on. I've still got a lot to learn, and I feel like I'm progressing as well. So I feel like I've got a lot to give.
And like I said, what do you like for you now, David? I don't know, like what you 32, 33 or something like that now?
32, mate, yeah.
What's when you look at this, obviously boxing's a short career, and it's 35, 36 might be the time when people start thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
What do you want out of the sport?
Good question. So I always use this analogy that I say to people that it's honestly right, okay, the money and all this sort of stuff. Listen, we're prize fighters, we're fighting for a prize, it's risk reward. So listen, it's about paying your mortgage off, putting a bit of money in the bank, securing your kids' future, all that stuff. But to be honest, Andy, that and that aside, it's honestly for me, I've been at it 16, 17 years now, and it's now just about when I walk away in 2 or 3 years' time, depending how I feel and how my body feels, is about putting my head on the pillow at the end of the day and know that I gave it my best, gave it my all. The usual stuff, left no stone unturned. I totally committed to it, and I went as far as I can go. And by the way, that could be fighting for a British title, which I have, winning a British title, winning the European, all that stuff. Wherever I land, as long as I gave 100% of myself to it, and then I'll be content with that.
Well said, mate. And like I say, and again, I'm going to just probably say something biased here, but I don't really care. You're one of the nicest guys I've ever met in boxing, and
Cheers, mate.
really want you to get something out of the sport, whether it be that British title, European title, a big win. Do you know what I mean? Against a big name, went down south.
Yeah.
That's something that you deserve for what the amount of work you gave the sport and whatnot. But anyway, that's enough lovey-dovey. I am because
thanks, mate. Thank you.
My pleasure, mate. My pleasure, David. Me too, mate. Aye. I want to get your thoughts on the two cruiserweight fights tonight. Then give me your thoughts on the Chamberlain Massey fight, please.
Oh, well, funnily enough, I was actually on the phone to Isaac Chamberlain yesterday, and I know you'll know Martin Rev, the Rev. So I was down, obviously, in London. We were coming back up last night from London, and Isaac was on the phone to the Rev in the car, so I was just having a wee blather to him. He's in right good spirits, and from what I saw on the phones, at the press conference and stuff, he seems to be under Massey's skin a bit. So I'll give you it from the beginning. At first, when Chamberlain gets Cieslak, I thought, brilliant. Excellent, that's a real good fight for him. I thought Chamberlain would do Cieslak pretty easily. Then the rug get pulled, and in comes Massey, and Massey's a hard fight for MD. I mean, look at the account he gave of himself against Parker, and Parker's a big lad. The only thing I think here is I don't know how well Massey's done the weight. I thought he'd sort of outgrown cruiserweight. He's a big lad, so. I think if I fancy Chamberlain down the stretch, I think Massey will maybe start showing, maybe gas a wee bit, and I fancy Chamberlain to come on strong. Whether he stops him is one thing, but I think he'll definitely get the decision. Riakporhe, what a fight that is. Honest opinion on that, Billam-Smith, I mean, probably one of the most improved fighters, but I've seen serious miles on the clock the last couple of fights. A massive deterioration in his defence and his duty of care for himself. To be honest, I mean that last one against the lad that retired with a broken rib, the southpaw lad. I honestly had I had the other
Masternak?
boy to maybe. Yeah, that was it. I honestly had Masternak to stop Billam-Smith because he couldn't miss him with that left hand, and then obviously retired with the broken rib. So two cracking fights, but if I was to pick them, I would honestly pick Chamberlain, and I'll pick Riakporhe because as I say, I just think, don't get me wrong, again, you chop and change. That's why they're good 50-50 fights, but Riakporhe relatively untested the last couple of years. He's been away doing his Armani modelling thing and all that. So is he maybe, rubbing shoulders with Madonna? Is it maybe all going to his head? Because Billam-Smith, you can't question his, he's all about the fighting. So you just don't know if maybe Riakporhe's eyes off the ball and he's maybe getting a bit distracted. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. That's why you tune in. That's why we tune into it all.
Yep.
I've got to say as well, you're fighting in next week, I believe.
Next week, yep.
Yeah, obviously you're sitting at 16 stone, so I'm guessing it's going to be a heavyweight fight.
Yeah, yes, it's a catchweight scenario. So yeah, small heavyweight, yep.
Well, small heavyweight, you've heard of that Bridgerweight division, right?
Yeah, brilliant. Love it. I'd be, what is it, 15-7?
15-7.
Oh, listen, I'm sitting at 16-3 just now. 15-7 would be perfect. But the problem being, there's just not enough governing bodies behind it, isn't it? It's
The
just
WBA, the WBA I've got, they're behind it now.
Right, okay.
That's the WBC and the WBA. So
I like that.
We're getting there.
Listen, Andy, see, it couldn't be more relevant now. Like, it's the whole Klitschko era, isn't it? All these big giant men just started appearing back in the 80s and 90s. You just didn't have it. It must be something in the water. I don't know what these guys are eating, but these guys, they're just too big.
That's what they're saying. Somebody said to me the other week there when we were talking about the Saudi stuff, and people were talking about Usyk and Parker and all these guys, and they're saying they're 6'3", 17 stone, 18 stone. They're like, that's the perfect heavyweight.
That's
you
it.
can be too big. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
you can be too big, and I think that these smaller guys have shown it.
I know that. See what you're saying there about Parker. I mean, we were training last year and we were down in Tyson Fury's gym and Parker came in. I think I was sparring with Tommy or something and Parker came in. I didn't realise how, he's not a massive stature-wise, but see what a strong, thick build he is. His shoulders are like basketballs. His arms are like legs, he's a big, strong lad.
He is, man. I've had the privilege to be in Parker's company on numerous occasions, and he's just his legs, everything's just big. He eats raw fish. You should have been on me. So maybe that's
the raw fish. Oh, listen here, I don't care what that does for your build. You'll not catch me in any raw fish.
You look like a Viking. You look like that. You do eat raw fish.
Well, I've got the helmet and the sword upstairs, but I'll not bring that down now.
Next time. David, always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend, and good luck next week. I'm sure you don't need it, mate, but good luck anyway, and hopefully I'll catch up with you very, very soon. But enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Brilliant, Andy. I appreciate your time, mate. Thank you.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Thanks, David. Thank you, mate.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.